So this is a video I've been thinking of making for a while. A couple of years ago, I did a video on Squirtle, which was a game that I played almost daily, and eventually this one came out, and I have a bit of a weird history with this one because I saw the original Reddit post for when it was released, and at first the game was a little pointless if you knew Pokemon reasonably well, because as long as you could think of an answer to put in every square, then that was basically the whole thing. And so I just kind of wrote this off as, like, this is fine if you don't know all the Pokemon with, like, an encyclopedic knowledge like I often do. But if you do have that, it doesn't really do much for you. However, the game then, after a short while, introduced the concept of a score system, basically tracking how many people answer a given Pokemon for any possible combination of traits. And so the goal is to get the lowest score possible by basically guessing things that the fewest people guess. And I thought that was pretty interesting. I used to play this one pretty often for a while. Got a little sick of it after, a couple months. And for a while now, I've been thinking of basically just making a video where I do this for maybe a week or so. And I kept thinking, like, I'll start it on a Monday or a Sunday and just go through the week. And then I would get to a Monday or whatever and be like, oh no, I forgot to do it. Well, gotta wait another week. But it's like, why does it have to start on a Monday? It's the Thursday today. I'll just start it today. So we'll see how I do. There's definitely a meta game to this. I'll explain as I go. So, yep, let's just figure out what we want to put in this. So, in the daily puzzle, there's no way to get soft locked. You can in the unlimited mode. Soft lock basically being if you answer something to one square and it's the only answer for another square, you now can't complete it. So I shouldn't have to worry about that for this one. But for Ice Dark, I think it's just Sneasel, Weavile, and Chien-Pao. There might be another one I'm not thinking of, and if so, then that's probably going to be the lowest score. And this is always the difficult part, is deciding which one I want to do, because I have to kind of guess what people remember the least. And I feel like Sneasel is probably the most remembered, and people who are up to date with the current games or play competitively will probably think Chien-Pao, so I'm going to go Weavile. No. Okay, that one, it's more than 33, so it's definitely not the lowest. Ice Electric, that should only be Frost Rotom and Arctozolt. I don't think there's any other ones, so I'm gonna go with the Rotom. It's probably gonna be the higher guessed one. It's hard to tell. Arctozolt's been around longer. I'm changing my mind to that one. God damn it! I second guess this every time. I can never decide what my best answer should be. Oh boy. All right. Okay, Mega Evolved Dark type. There's Gyarados, there's Absol, Tyranitar, Sharpedo, probably a few others. Gyarados stands out a little bit because it gains Dark type when it Mega Evolves, so I'm thinking probably not that one. I'm gonna go with Sharpedo. Probably a decent guess. Alright, Mega Electrics. Ampharos, Manectric. There's 48 megas. I do have them memorized. I just, I don't want to go through the entire list mentally here and take forever doing this, so you can't just type in mega and have the list come up, right? Nah, that doesn't work. So between the two, if there's a third one, then it's probably going to be that, but between the two I thought of, I'm going to go with Manectric. Nope, bad choice. Okay. Do I want to do dual types or middles first? I guess I'll do middles, so 3-stage darks. Krokorok is the first one to come to mind. Zvilas, Morgrim. There's surprisingly few 3-stage families just in the series as a whole. And I'm pretty sure this is going to rule out all starters, because there's a few Dark-type starters. You know, you've got, like, Greninja and Cineroar, Hisui and Samurott. None of those have Dark in their middle stage, I don't think. There's no Darks in Gen 1. There's barely any Darks in Gen 2. None of them are a middle stage, I think. So I'm gonna just... What was the first one I said? Krokorok? Like, that's a decent one, maybe. I always think of Gen 7 as having a bunch of Dark types because it has 3 Alolan families, but it's pretty much just those and Guzzlord. So it's actually not that many. Gen 9 has a lot of Darks, but it's mostly legendaries. 8 has a few. Oh, you know what? I'm going Linoon. I think that one's probably unlikely for people to think of. Maybe. Hard to tell. Middle electric. There's obviously Pikachu. Flaffy. How many 3-stage electric families are there? There's Pomo, Electabuzz, Magneton. I guess there's a few decent ones. This is, again, this is kind of the meta, is you have to... There's a middle that you have to strike, because there's the obvious answers, and then there's the obscure answers, which become the obvious answers to the pro players, and you have to kind of find a nice middle ground. So it's like, you know, Pikachu is probably going to be the most common answer for people who are not massively into the series, but then it's like, will it actually be, though? Because some of those people might think of a second answer to try to not pick that one. I don't think that's gonna... I'm definitely not picking Pikachu, but of the ones I said, you also have to take into consideration it's, you know, whenever a Pokemon gets a baby or an evolution later on, it can kind of throw off your perception of it. Like, for me, it's weird to think of Electabuzz as being a middle stage, but it is. All that said, I'm still kind of leaning towards Pomo. Maybe Magneton, because people probably think of that one more as a steel type. I hope there's no other ones I'm forgetting. Most electric types are only 2 stages, I think. So, oh, nope, you know what? I thought of it at the last second. Alolan Graveler. Yep, okay. So now we're a little bit more open here. Dual ice type. There's plenty I could pick. What's one that is a stupid pick? Here's the other thing, is overlap with other things in the board. Because it's like, you know, I went with Weavile as my Dark Ice. I could do another Dark Ice, but that's also kind of the obvious thing to do, because you'll have this one in mind when doing this. Same for Electric Ice. And so you kind of have to decide, are people going to do that or not? And a lot of times they do. It's hard to decide when you want to do that. Here I'm thinking probably not. There's plenty of Water Ices I could pick. I could just do one of those. I could try to go as obscure as possible and go Galarian Zen Mode Darmanitan as Ice Fire, but I feel like that one's almost too obvious for people who are trying to go obscure. I am gonna go Ice Rider Calyrex. I feel like Calyrex shows up in the lowest picked options pretty often, so let's see how that one goes. Yep, I'm thinking I did well on that one. If I had a cross of Middle Evolution and Ice, I'd probably go Arctibax, just because I happened to see that one when I was typing this one in. Mega Evolved Dual Type. There's plenty I could pick. It's probably most of them. What's a Mega Evolution people usually forget about? Probably, like, Dino, honestly. Or maybe just something they added to Oris that was not a Gen 3. So, like I said, Dino. No, there's probably something better than that. I don't want to take forever thinking about it, though, so... That was my first hunch. I kind of want to go with that one, but I was also tempted to go Mega Pinsir, because it goes from a pure type to a dual type. But again, that might be the obvious pick for people who think of that. So, I mean, Audino also does, so... There's too many options. I don't know what to go with, so I'm thinking probably not a starter. I'm just gonna do Gallade, because I tend to forget this thing has a Mega. Yeah, you know what? For 48 answers and not all of them are dual type, 1.6%, not bad. The pixel integrity on this is shit. I need to... Yeah, let's... About... That looks better. Okay, so last option, dual type middle evolution. There's only 5 billion things this could be. So I think the trick for these is to pick a generation that's not 1 and not 9, because you don't want it to be... You want to pick something just average, and I'm currently feeling 6. 6 doesn't have a whole lot of middle or 3-stage families. I could go with a starter. No, all the starters in Gen 6 are pure type. Middle evolutions, at least. There's Doublade. Hell, or, well, I guess Fletchender. Let's just do Fletchender. It's a frickin' forgettable early route bird. Why the hell not? Apparently 1.6% of people said Fletchender. Okay, so let's see how I did. Where's my 181 compared to 149? That's not so bad. Okay, so least common. Yeah, I thought Sneasel would be the most common. Apparently not. Okay, I guessed well on Sharpedo and Graveler. I think, let me see. Okay, so only 3 for this one, only 2 for this one, only 2 for this one. What was it again? Dark Middle Evolution. I forgot about Nuzleaf. And, oh god, Bisharp is a middle now. Bisharp was the most common? What the hell? Huh. I guess people have King Gambit on the mind. I totally forgot about that thing. Picked well on this one. Charjabug, Luxio. Oh, yeah, there were a few that I forgot about. Just the 2 for that. What was this? Dual Ice. Now, see, I said earlier, it's always a risk picking ones that overlap with a different square. But here's Chenpao and Arctozolt at the bottom of the list. I could have done one of those. The Kyurem forms, of course. Okay, so Calyrex Ice was at least in the lower half. What was the most common? I'm going to guess, like, Lapras. No. It's close to the top. How many dual-type Megas are there? Quite a few. Most common was Charizard X, apparently. I was, again, in the lower half. I think I did okay on that one. And then this was just dual middle evolutions. There's got to be 100 answers for this one. Apparently Dottler was the lowest for some reason. Jigglypuff, okay. Ivysaur was the most common. Why? Because it's the first in the dex order? It's the first by like a lot, damn. Ooh, mine was actually relatively close to the top. Bad pick, apparently. Hello, and Graveler is just up here. Okay. Okay, well, yeah, that was, I think, a decent attempt. Now that this has been 15 minutes, let's do 6 more of these and have this video be really long and boring. Day 2, let's see what we got. Mostly types, which is fine by me. I find those to be generally the most fun. So we're combining Dark and Psychic with these things, and then item evolutions. I guess let me do the item evolutions first, because they're the most specific. So there's a few different things that these can be. These can be evolution stones, they can be hold item and trade, hold item and level up. And then I think the things for Applin were the first just, I don't know what you'd call it, like item that evolves Pokemon that isn't an evolution stone but also doesn't require a level up, like it, but yeah, basically stuff like that. So for Bug, I know Cleavor is kind of an obscure one. I guess Scizor also, because that's a trade evolution. There's at least one other one. What is it? Right, because as of Gen 8, I think, Charge-a-Bug evolves into Vikavolt with a Thunderstone. So Scizor is probably the most common one. Between Scizor and... or between Kleavor and Vikavolt, I don't know which is the lesser picked. I'm gonna go Kleavor. Yeah, I'm happy with that choice. Okay, plenty of things that take Firestones. If you want to think outside the box a little bit, there's Magmortar, takes the Magmarizer. What the hell are they called? The Gen 9 things. Armarouge and Ceruledge take like an armor item or something. I don't remember exactly what those would be on there. Probably a few others I'm forgetting about too. I'm gonna go Armarouge. Yep, okay. Ground types. Let's see, there's... Golem is just a straight trade. Nidoking and Nidoqueen take Moonstones. There's Steelix, there's Rhyperior. Ursaluna takes the Peat block. Any other ones? There's probably, again, there's a lot of these. It's like, it's hard to really remember all of them. Same logic I use for Kleavor. I feel like the ones from Legends Arceus are less likely to be on people's minds. I'm just zooming in super close to make the sprites look a little bit better. Maybe they're not. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but they're, you know, they're kind of isolated to their own game. It's not something you encounter all that often. So, Nidoking and Queen, you know, they're not the type of thing you'd think of with ground type necessarily, but they're also Gen 1, so they're probably pretty high up there. I'm just going to go Ursaluna. Not Blood Moon, though, because Blood Moon, you can't actually get through evolution, so that one probably won't count as an answer. I'll have to see after the fact. Oh, yeah. Urshifu is actually a good option for these whenever it can fit in, because, yeah, it's not something you would think of as an item evolution, but it technically is one. Okay, so now we just got type combinations. I'm pretty sure there's exactly one Bug Dark, unless something has changed. That would be a Lokix. Yep. Dark Fire. We've got Houndour and Houndoom, plus its Mega. Incineroar. Chi-Yu. I feel like there's at least one I'm forgetting. I don't remember what it would be. Maybe it's just me. I tend to think that the earliest, like, whatever Pokemon was the first of its type combination is usually the one people will remember the most. I guess it depends on, you know, how many gens you've played, but I'm gonna basically discount Houndour, Houndoom. Mega Houndoom, maybe, but the thing with the Megas is, like, if you think of the Pokemon, it's basically going to be a 50-50 split. Like, do you pick the original or do you pick the Mega? And then there's things that have G-Maxes, and it's a whole big thing. I know Incineroar is big in competitive, and it's, you know, it's a starter, so people probably think of that one. I don't think Chi-Yu is an obscure guess. It's probably going to get a lot of votes, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I'm going to be pissed off when I find out what the other Dark Fire type is. There's probably, like, some random legendary I'm forgetting about, or, like, I don't think there's a Paradox or a Ultra Beast with that type. There's a Fire Ghost, but yeah. Okay, that's fine. Dark Ground. Is that just the Sandile family? I'm pretty sure those were the first, at least. Oh, there's also Tinglu. There might still be another one besides that, but yeah, there's at least 4. And here's my thinking on this one is, you know, I basically just proved the opposite when I chose Chi-Yu here, but if you think Tinglu and the other family, I'm thinking that is being split 2 ways instead of 4, and then the Sandile family is being split 3 ways. And so the question is, which one of that family are people guessing the most? And you'd think the middle stage would be the least guessed, but I feel like sometimes the meta reverses it, and those become more guessed because people think it's going to be less guessed. It's like, it's a constant game of chicken with this shit. I tend to go lower evolution when I'm in doubt, and a lot of times it works out. There's probably a lot of people who think that Sandile is pure ground and it becomes dark when it evolves or something. So I'm just going to go Sandile. This thing's almost certainly going to be over 25%. I'm going to regret this guess. Really? Okay. So either there's another ground dark that I'm forgetting, or I actually did pick well there. We'll see. Okay, Bug Psychic. I believe it's just Dottler, Orbeetle, plus its Gmax, and Rabska. I think those are the only ones. And so, once again, I have to decide, do I pick the family of 3 and hope that it gets split 3 ways, or do I pick Rabska because I think it's kind of lesser remembered? I know I tend to forget that thing exists. My gut is saying Dottler. Dottler was a low guess in yesterday's puzzle. Now, will that mean that people who played yesterday's puzzle are going to have it fresh in their mind? I don't know. We'll see. Well, it's below 25, so maybe that was a good guess. Okay, Psychic Fire. I believe the options are Victini, Zenmo Darmanitan, Delphox, Armarouge, which I picked here. That might have been a bad pick. I think those are all the options, so if we just count Armarouge, then Zenmo Darmanitan's definitely the most obscure one, but as I kind of said in yesterday's puzzle, I feel like that almost makes it more guessed. Maybe I'm like paranoid over nothing with that, but I've seen this happen with I've had things where it's like, pick a pure water type from Hoenn, or I don't know if it's it's just like, it doesn't have to be from Hoenn, just like, pick a pure water type, any generation, anything else, and I'll be like, rainy cast form. And then rainy cast form will actually be like pretty high on the list. It's like, what the fuck? So, that in mind, I kind of want to try it anyway, just to see what happens. Let's just see what this gets. Okay. And Psychic Ground. I don't think there's ever been one other than Baltoy Clay at all. Trying to think of anything newer might have had that combo. As always, there's probably something I'm forgetting. I usually go first stage. Something's telling me to switch it up and go Clay all this time, but I'm going to stick with my gut. Go with Baltoy. Okay, I think I did pretty good. So let's see, I got... Where's my score? 250, 236. Yeah, damn, I was only 14 points off. Now, it's hard to tell, how good that actually is. It's the type, because the score differs per game. If you get stuff where, like, every answer is a 50-50 guess, then your score is going to be really high, because the score is just the percentages added up. And here there was, like, 100%, so you can basically remove that and compare 150 to 136. But, yeah, I'd say that was pretty good. Let's see what I messed up on. Okay, so people did go Vikavolt. It is just those 3. I was right about Scizor being the most common. Oh, God. Okay. That's a tricky one. Because, yeah, Galarian Darmanitan evolves with an Ice Stone, and this is a form of that, so that does technically count. Scovillain, didn't think about that one. Suian Arcanine. Everything else is pretty much just Firestone stuff. Mine wasn't a bad guess, it just wasn't the best guess. Really, Nidoking was the lowest? Golem was low? What the hell? I forgot about Gliscor. See, you can never tell with this stuff. I always feel like Gen 1s are going to be highly guessed, but apparently not. I have no idea how to predict people's guesses. It's weird. Okay, Low Kicks was the only one. We've got... Yep, I named all the ones here. Yeah, see, it's like... When you type in Houndoom, you're going to see Houndoom Mega, like, right underneath it. So even if you forgot that it had a Mega, or if you, haven't played much of the games and just didn't know in the first place, you're going to see it there. And then you have to decide, do I stick with the original or do I go with the Mega? And it's always weird to me to see like what the responses are, because I always feel like if it was me, I would see like, oh, let me go this one instead because this isn't the base answer. This is going to get guessed less. And so then that does make it guessed more, but I guess it doesn't. I'll try to remember that for later ones. Yep, this is exactly what I said. I pretty much hit that one right on the head. I figured crocodile would be the highest, but it's always a little hard to say. And then, yeah, here we have the case of the middle form somehow getting more attention than the base form, which doesn't happen that often, but it's reverse psychology, I'm telling you. Dottler was a good pick. Yeah. Here we had the exact 4 that I said. Armorage had double up with the other category, so makes sense for that one to be low, but somehow Darmanitan was slightly lower. And then just these 2. Okay, so I got the lowest pick out on, oh, I guess it was 6 out of 9. The top row I didn't do as well, but yeah, still not bad. Now, the question is, how long until I get one of the puzzles that's like, can learn Thunderbolt? Because I freaking hate those. I might just cheat. I'll see how I feel. Day 3. I've actually enjoyed doing the last 2. Let's see if that's going to change. It's going to change. So, yeah, I have a beef with these. And maybe this is just a personal thing, because, you know, I've got the whole Pokédex basically memorized. I can usually recall type combinations quite well. I know a lot of, like, the majority of the evolution methods off the top of my head, that type of stuff. As far as, you know, what can learn random TMs, there's no way I'm going to know that, because I don't care. Like, I know that, they usually do common TMs. There's like Earthquake, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, that type of stuff. And those are usually learned by a wide variety of things. And that's what sucks is, like, you know, what's a rock type that can learn Earthquake? Probably most of them. But I'm not going to know for sure. Like, and this is the only question that I would have to guess on and have a chance of getting wrong. And so I think I am going to actually just cheat with these, because I just really don't like these questions. I'd rather do that than, you know, get these wrong and just have to deal with that. So, whatever. So looking at this grid, I'm not thrilled with the combinations of things we have here. I'm seeing, let's see. Yeah, 6 spots can be filled with Minior. How many? I see what they're doing here. It's fit these 8 pegs into these 6 holes. Can it learn Earthquake? Let's find out. Actually, let's do Bulbapedia. It can. This is TM, right? I mean, not that it... Yeah, it is. Okay, so... I've seen one of these before where you could put, like, Pumpkaboo and Gourgeist in every slot. And yeah, this is literally just that same thing, but now there's 8 forms that you can pick, and there's 9 slots. Oh my god, I'm already hating this one. Can we just skip it? Okay, yeah, this puzzle really took the wind out of my sails. I'm genuinely kind of pissed off now. For a couple of reasons. I'll do the puzzle anyway, but I'm not going to be happy about it. and I just have to hope that the next ones will be better. But let me complain a little bit more about the can learn insert move here thing, just to kind of give a little bit of perspective on why I'm hating this category so much. Because it's hard for me to really get a sense of what the average Pokemon player has committed to memory. For me, there were a few instances where at the start of a new generation I would put it off for a while, but ever since I've played the game since Gen 1, I've always committed the entire dex to memory. I can recite them off in dex order. I don't expect anybody to be able to do that. That is not necessary information for any person to have. But I feel like maybe not the average player, but the average, fan who's stuck with the series from the start can probably identify at least most of the Pokemon by sight. I would say all, but I've seen evidence to the contrary. There are over 1,000 of the fuckers. It's if you're not studying it, then yeah, you're gonna forget a few probably. But I would say that anybody who would consider themselves a diehard fan would know all of them, and would probably know all the types. Maybe a little bit of misremembering stuff here and there, because the types are just kind of a core part of the Pokemon's identities. And it's there are cases where it's hard to remember, of this 3-stage family, does the middle form have the dual type? Does it not gain it until the third? There's just some really weird ones, like form changes that have different types that you wouldn't necessarily think of, that kind of thing. But for the most part, I think most people in my position would know those. And then you get into the stuff like the evolution methods, which are more esoteric. I don't know if that's the right word for it, where you don't need it to go through a standard playthrough. You're not going to be okay, well, there's a Lucario that evolved from happiness. That doesn't matter. But if you complete the dexes and are evolving stuff, it's something you might remember, because every Pokemon only has one evolution method that you need to remember. In some cases, maybe two, if they changed it between gens. But then you get into movesets, and it's this is where I don't understand how competitive players actually play this game. Because I understand you're not dealing with 1,025 Pokemon. You're dealing with, whichever ones are relevant to either the current VGC set or the tier that you're playing in Smogon tiers or whatever. And it's, you've got this chunk, and then of that chunk, there's 30 that are viable. And you just kind of have to remember what good sets those run, and know the speed brackets and everything. So it's I understand that you don't have to memorize literally everything, but you have to always change what you're remembering. And that is a bit much for me. I don't like doing that. And so when it comes to moveset stuff, look at how many goddamn things learn Earthquake. We're going to scroll through the whole list here. And now, with a lot of these, I could reasonably guess that it would get it. Big, bulky Pokemon, ground types, rock types, some steel types, that kind of stuff. But, Komala, Jangmo, and I know that Altaria gets it, because I know that from fighting Winona and it blindsiding you with this. But, why the fuck does Altaria get it? It's a cloud. There's no rhyme or reason to this. And so, for me to have a reasonable chance at this, it's I have to know every single case. Blissey? Really? I don't know. It pisses me off. And so, that is why I have no real issue with cheating for this category. Oh, I forgot. I have this tab open because I wanted to show this for Squirtle. Just to show this game off real quick. I've done this one before. I'm not going to do it daily, but I've developed a system for this one where I usually have kind of set answers that I go for to narrow it down. And I mostly just kind of figured that out on my own, but I'll keep doing this one in a minute. just kind of for fun, because I'm weird and I like making spreadsheets, I made this thing to, like, categorize everything, count up how many of every type there are in every gen, and, which ones are primary versus secondary, so that's something that this tracks. Like, list off which ones it combines with. And I did that for every generation, and then I did it for everything combined. So you can look at a glance, like, if I know that the thing is in Gen 5, what's a good type to guess? And I have my answers here. I can look at the numbers. And I've made this resource, but I don't ever really use it. I just kind of made it because I like organizing data in this way. That's how I get my sick kicks, apparently. But yeah, you can't do that with moves. You just can't. And so, let me finish doing this one. I would use the tags, like I can do Gen 6. Oh, it's not typing. Type not normal, type not water. Like, I could do all that. I'm not going to. Let me just see if I can guess one. So we're looking at, between 1.7 and 3. It's not a pure type, so I'm going to just guess Mega Blaziken. Actually, could be. Okay, no, it's not that. What Tyrantrum? Really? Okay, well, it's part rock. Auroras? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that was a waste of time. Basically, putting off doing this. Because fuck this puzzle. So I'm not doing... just out of principle, I am not putting Minior in any of these answers. Because for every single one of these, if I put one in, that is basically a 12.5%. Assuming that, the distribution between each square is roughly even, which I'm sure it isn't. I'm sure there's some meta to, like, oh man, I want to use the violet one here. I'm not doing that, so we're going to avoid the thing altogether. So, let's save the earthquake category for last. Rock flying that isn't Minior. It's Archon, Archeops, Aerodactyl, Mega Aerodactyl. I'm just going to go Archon. I'm not going to care about this one as much. 16.4. Fuck you. Like, I know the Minior answers are going to be divided 8 ways, but fuck you anyway. Alola flying? Oh yeah, that sounds like Celesteela to me. Except, no, let's go with one of the Oricorios. I'll do Pom-Pom. What's the size to make these look not terrible? I think that's probably good. Flying with no evolution line, that could be Celesteela. Any other ones that come to mind immediately? Not really. Whatever. Oh, I wasn't stuck to Alola. That could have been any gen. Whatever. That's what I went with anyway. Okay. Dual type rock. What's a weird combination for rock? We've got plenty of ground, plenty of water. Let's just do Dwebble. Okay, any dual type from Gen 7. Is Ash Greninja in this? Yes. I don't know if that counts as a Gen 7. I'll have to check afterward. Because it counts as a Gen 7 in Squirtle, but this game plays by slightly different rules. Again, this could be basically anything. Is there a Mimikyu busted in there? Yes. Could go with that one. Sorry, I'm being like really aggressive and petty in this video. I hate it. I'm trying to think, like, what's something like Bruxish. I don't know why that was my answer, but that was my answer. Dual type, no evolution line. It can be any gen. Yeah, I could just stick with the Gen 7, because that's what I've been doing for a lot of this, but let's go with, let's do, I don't know, 2. I mean, there's Lugia and Ho-Oh, Celebi. But there's lots of unevolving shit in Gen 2, or at least there used to be. It all has evolutions now. Okay, you know what? Because I hate this puzzle and I'm willing to bonk on it, does Jotonian Quillfish count as having no evolution line when its alt form does? Because I swear I've gotten conflicting answers on this before. There was a time where I don't remember exactly what the circumstances were, but there was something where it was like I had to pick. It was like a middle stage of something and a Gen 1 maybe. I don't remember if that was it. And I'm like, what about Mr. Mime? Because that's one people wouldn't think about. Because Cantonian Mr. Mime doesn't evolve, but the Galarian one does, so it is technically part of a 3-stage evolution, and I don't think it accepted that. And then I took that logic and applied it to Galarian Linoon at one point, in what should have been the same situation, but that one did work, I think, or like I don't remember. It was something very specific and stupid, but I feel like this one should count. Okay, it did. And here we're gonna just look at this. We just find a rock type that seems like it shouldn't be able to learn Earthquake. I'm tempted to just go Lunatone, but let me actually start from the beginning. I'm going to maybe incorrectly assume that everything that can learn it from level up can also learn it from TM. I know that's not always the case, but it should be. So let's just scroll through this and see. So far, everything I've seen, I would expect to have it. Except for maybe, like, Geodude. Aerodactyl cannot learn it in Gen 9. The hell? Is it not in Gen? I don't... Maybe that's why. I don't know what's in the local decks for that. Sudowoodo, I would... Shuckle. Shuckle's a good one. I might Corsola. Really? Because Shuckle is a defensive wall, like, it using Earthquake is kind of funny. I'm gonna go with that one until I find something better. That's probably my final answer, though. If something else pops up that's really offensive, like, Bonsly, but nah, it's, whatever. We'll kind of be here scrolling through this list a while, so bear with me. Ooh. Sui and Avalugg, actually. I mean, it makes sense because this thing's big. It's just something that people wouldn't think of, though. Then again, who the hell's going to think of Shuckle? So, yeah, I'm still going with Shuckle, I think. What? Minior can learn it. Oh. Mario Mushroom. Okay. Yeah, let's just go with my gut. Online plus expansion pack. Wow. Okay. Can learn Earthquake and Alola. Let me first see. Okay, so there's Diglett, Dugtrio, Sandshrew, Sandslash, Diglett, Dugtrio again, Geodude, Graveler, Golem, Executor, Marowak. I don't know if any of those stand out to me as being particularly weird. Let's just look at actual Gen 7 stuff and not regional forms. Fucking Yungoos, really. Wishy-washy solo form. That is my final answer. This thing has no business learning Earthquake. Like, see, this is why I'm fine with cheating. Because 0.4% of people still guessed this anyway. Now, how many of those people knew that offhand? Like, maybe if you used Wishy-Washy in-game, which I did, and just gave it the Earthquake TM, and then just kind of locked that away in the recess of your mind, and then this puzzle came out and it's like, I've got it. No one's going to guess this thing. How many people guessed that, did it that way, as opposed to just looking up a list? Like, I'm justifying myself here, but I'm leveling the playing field. People are looking at a list for this shit. Lastly, no evolution line can learn Earthquake. I'm just going to scroll through and find something weird. I'm not going to look through the whole list again. I already did Shuckle. I could do Johto Corsola, because that was a weird one. Well, let's just go Kamala. Why the hell not? Okay, so by refusing to use Minior at all, I got a score of 25, which, seems really low. And then I realized that the majority of that is from fucking Arkin over here. I'm guessing the lowest score is, what, like 12? I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. Okay, least common. Minior only made it into one of them. What is what? I guess. Okay. Necrozma Ultra is the least picked. No evolution, can learn Earthquake. I didn't think of it. Sure. More people guessed Wishy-Washy than Stuffle. Dawn. I saw Young Goose first. Really? More people thought of Wishy-Washy than Young Goose? Come on. Unless it was me, or unless it was people who did the same thing as me, looked through the list and what is the most ridiculous thing in this list, and picked it for that reason. But yeah, I'm not going to look through the answers for all these. I'm curious about this one because this one has the fewest options. So, yeah. At one point I was actually thinking maybe I should allow myself to use Minior for one of them. But then I'm like, nah, I gotta stick to my bases here and just not use it at all. If I was going to use it anywhere, I should have used it here. Well, I somehow managed to pick the, not only the lowest Oricorio form, but the lowest non-Minior for this category, so that was interesting. Yeah, there's going to be a ton of answers for the rest of these, so most common. I'm sure there's some meta to oh man, I want to use the violet one here. Surprisingly, only one Minior in this category. Also, I forgot to mention in yesterday's puzzle that at one point I brushed over Golem as an answer for evolves with item ground type. And I'm like, oh yeah, because it's a trade evolution and you don't use an item, it's just a trade. I guess that you can use the link cable from Legends Arceus as a way to excuse that as being an item evolution. That's probably why it was in that category. Anyway, this one took up way more time than it should have because I was bitching the entire time. And given that I think weekends usually have harder puzzles, I'm expecting more bitching tomorrow. Then hopefully it'll be better after that. Alright, onwards we go. Hopefully this one won't annoy me as much as the last one did, but there's a pretty good chance it will. No, this one looks okay right now, at least. I hate how I have to have it so zoomed in so that the sprites look correct. Before I forget, in the last video, at one point I questioned if Ash Greninja would be a valid answer to something asking for a Pokemon from Alola, and as far as I can tell, it is not. At the very least, it was never guessed for that square, but Zygarde 10% and Complete were in that square, so it's a little weird, because all of those did debut in Gen 7. Ash Greninja is just a form change, and Megas are counted as being from the same gen as their base Pokemon instead of from Gen 6. Ash Greninja is kind of a Mega, not really, but it's similar to one, so I guess that's why, but it's a little questionable. And I'm not sure how Origin, Dialga, and Palkia work, or anything else that gained a form in a later gen like that. You kind of just have to play with it, I guess. So, anyway. We've got Grass, Dragon, Fire, Kalos, No Evolution, Mythical. No evolution line in Mythical is going to be pretty much every Mythical except for Meltan, I think. I don't think there's any other ones that evolve. Actually, does Fion count? Because, like, it's technically a separate Pokemon, but, like, I don't know. We'll worry about that one later, I guess. So, Grass and Fire, there's only 3 options. Or actually, no, only 2 options. There's, the hell is it called? Scovillain, and I think it's called Hearthflame Ogerpon. So I'm going to go with that one just because it's probably the lesser guessed of the 2. Yep. Grass Dragon. That used to only be Mega Sceptile until Applin and its weird pile of evolutions happened. I don't know why there's so many different versions of Applin now. It's weird. So, it's probably going to be one of those. Are the Flapple and Appleton Megas in here? Or G-Maxes? Yeah, they are. This really is the weirdest family of all time. You have a Pokemon with a split evolution, splits into 2, both which have the same G-Max, and then a generation later, in a DLC, it gets another evolution that one DLC later gets another evolution, so it branches into 3, and one of them goes up 2 stages, and one of them the other 2 will only go up 1. Like, what the hell did they do with this thing? I'm going to pick one of the G-Maxes. They're probably the lesser guest of these, so let's go this one. And Grass Mythical. There's Celebi, Zarude. Let me just go through all of them. Mew, Celebi, Jirachi, Deoxys, Fiona, Manaphy, Darkrai, Shaman. So Shaman also. Arceus, Victini, Keldeo, Meloetta, Genesect, Diancie, Hoopa, Volcanion, Giratina, Marshadow, Zeraora, Meltan, Melmetal, Zarude, Pecharunt. That should be all of them. So yeah, it's just Celebi and the 2 Shamans. I'm going to go with one of the Shamans just because the votes are probably split on that one. I guess I'll go with Sky. It doesn't... I don't really know. Like, it's the one I definitely think of less, but I mean, again, you type it in, you're going to see both of them. There's going to be people who'd be like, oh, let me go for this one, but I'll just do it anyway. Really, 14% out of 3 options. That's surprising. Okay. Kalos Mythical, we'll just get that one out of the way. There's only 3. Actually, no, there's technically 5 because Diancie and Hoopa both have 2 forms. So I'll go with the logic that the vote is probably split on those then. So I'll pick one of them. And I don't know which is going to be the lesser picked. I would probably say that Mega Diancie is less memorable than Unbound Hoopa. Neither of them are particularly memorable, but Hoopa kind of has the tie-in with, like, Oris, with the rings and stuff, and I know it's a thing in Pokemon Unite, not that that really matters, but yeah, I'll go with this one, I guess. If it's split 5 ways, then 20% is average, so yeah, that's fine. Kalos has a lot of dragon types, and not very many fire types, I think. There's the starters, of course, Litleo, Pyroar, there's Volcanion. I could double dip on that. That's actually maybe not a bad idea, because I think it's probably common for people to do this in reading order, and so they wouldn't have necessarily thought about mythicals yet. Are there any other fire types in Kalos? Is that it? Just Fennekin, Braixen, Delphox, Litleo, Pyroar, Volcanion. Oh, right. Fletchinder and Talonflame. Fletchinder's a decent guess, but nah. I'm gonna go big. We'll see if this one works out. It's probably not... I don't expect this to be the lowest guessed answer, but I don't really know which one would be. I'd kind of just be throwing a dart, so we'll see what happens. Okay, dragons and Kalos. Oh yeah, the thing is, the reason that this has so many dragons is because I count Megas as Gen 6, and this game doesn't. So there's maybe not as many as I was thinking. There's the Gumi family, Tyrunt and Tyrantrum, Noibat and Noivern. I'm currently leaning Noibat for my answer. Zygarde, Dragalge, maybe a few others. I think that might be all of them. There's not that many Pokemon in Kalos. I think it's like 72. I tend to forget about Noibat Noivern, so I'm going to go with that one. Also, I guess in this one we'll get to see if Zygarde 10 and Complete get to double dip and also count as Kalos, because they were definitely answers in the Alola section yesterday. Okay, and then no evolution line. We don't care about region, so I can pick whatever I want. So any unevolving dragon. Probably a good thing to do is pick a legendary with a bunch of forms, because those will get split. So, like, I could go Necrozma. I could go Zygarde. There's Kyurem. Stuff with megas, so like Latios, Rayquaza, I guess. And I'm trying to. Are there any other ones in Gen 9's legendaries? They don't have alt forms listed in this, do they? No. The Pokedex kind of lists these as having like 5 different forms, but like nobody actually recognizes that as being a thing. None of the DLC ones, I don't think. There's the past paradoxes, but nah. There's lots of random standalone dragons. There's Druddigon. There, I gave one whole example. No, I'm just gonna stop faffing around and just pick one of these. Okay, so I have to interject here because I am about to make a massive ass out of myself. A couple hours after recording this, I realized that the problem was that the answer I gave was not a dragon type. I don't know if I forgot that Necrozma was not dragon, or if I forgot what category I was doing. I think I was so hung up on the idea of multiform legendaries that are not part of a evolutionary family that I forgot that the category was specifically asking for dragon types. Because I was thinking of, Kyurem has multiple forms that are all dragon, and I knew Necrozma had one that was, and yeah, I just kind of forgot. So I'm going to get pissed off over this not being a, viable answer, and it's going to be stupid, but what can you do? I won't go Ultra, I'm going to do one of these. Let's go with Dawn. What? Hold on. That didn't count? Don't fucking tell me that doesn't count because it's half Lunala, which is an evolution of Cosmog. Oh, fuck you. Shit, I didn't even think about that. It's not counted as that, though. It's counted as Necrozma, I guess. Fuck. Okay. I'm not used to actually missing guesses on this. Okay. Well, that's gonna mess up my score pretty massively. But, okay. Just for the sake of argument, if I was to pick another answer that isn't Necrozma, I guess maybe Kyurem, and I'll say Black Form. We'll look at what that one's score is in the final thing and pretend that I had that. That's annoying. Okay. So, unevolving fire types. First thing to come to mind is Turtonator. There's plenty of weird ones out there. There's, you've got Heatmore, you've got various legendaries like Moltres, Ho-Oh. Maybe there's not a ton of them, but they definitely exist. Turtonator is one that is just kind of like, it's weird. Like, nope, we're going with this one. I saw it there, and I'm like, no, this is a better answer. I'm immediately changing my answer to this. Alright. And basically any mythical. I could double dip on grass. That's a risk. But last time I said that, where I was like, it's common for people to think of an answer for one and then use another answer that works for that for a different thing. But then those were the least guessed. So it's kind of hard to tell. It might just depend on the day. So I'm gonna be a little Also, did I forget Zarude? I said Zarude, and then I immediately forgot it existed, because I'm going to go with Zarude on this one. Oh, right. Fucking Dada form, of course. Which doesn't even get a sprite. But you know what does get a sprite? Cowboy Hat Caterpie, which is not a thing. They just made that up. Alright, whatever, let's just go with this. Let's see. Let me immediately see what the alt answer for this one would have been. We've got a lot of legendaries at the top, actually. What do you mean Necrozma Ultra is in here? What? Okay, am I wrong? I'm not super familiar with this thing, but I thought that it had to be fused into either Dawn or Dusk form, and then use, like, a specific Z move to, you know, like, warp Digivolve into this fucker. Can you do that from base form? When either Duskmane or Dawnwings Necrozma. You fucking hypocrite. If this counts, these should absolutely count, because it involves the evolved Cosmog either way. Piece of shit. Okay, so I would have guessed Kyurem Black, which would have been an extra 1.1%. So if I had answered that... Did this count as 100? Is that why? I don't... Let me do the math real quick. I want to find out what I did, so... Okay, I think it just adds 100. So, 84.8. If I had guessed Kyurem Black, that would have been a decent score, I think. So, least common was Diplin, apparently. Oh, I forgot about it. Alolan Executor, yeah. Okay, not the best guess here. It seems pretty fucking random to me. Really, a lot of people went Noibat on that one. Or no, I keep reading this wrong. This is lowest on the top. So, this one was just an average guess. It was fine. This one was, yeah, not bad. This one I didn't actually guess because the game fucking cheated me. Turtonator scored really high in this one. That is surprising. How many non-legendaries are there in this, actually? I'm curious. Okay, Dracozolt, and then later there's going to be Arctozolt, or Dracovish, I mean. There's Tatsugiri, which has 3 forms. That's not a bad guess. Cyclizar, Turtonator, Drampa, Drotagon. Yeah, there's not that many unevolving dragons. Alright. Okay, so yeah, this is just the 2 that I said. Scoville and clear winner here. I did go with a good guess on this one. And yeah, there weren't anything I forgot. I really lucked out on this one, because I was gonna go Turtonator until I saw this one autocomplete. Ogerpon double dip. Oricorio and Castform are usually pretty good guesses for this kind of stuff, because they're just kind of forgettable. Wow. That was a bad first guess. Damn, okay. I completely forgot about Torkoal, too, and that was an even worse guess. Rotom Heat. Yeah, okay. Stupid Dada's a rude. Okay, so here's a case where it's impossible to get the sum of the lowest guesses, because two of them have the same answer, so one of these would have to go to a different one. So yeah, Shaman Sky. Yeah, I forgot this thing fucking had a second form. So yeah, I had a perfectly average guess. I'm surprised at the jump between Land and Sky, though, because I thought these were going to be pretty evenly split. Did I go Unbound on... No, really, Unbound was lower. Still the second lowest, though. And then for this one... Yeah, I keep forgetting. I gotta pick the ones that have alt forms, because they get split. Okay, and Manaphy and Fion do both count as having no evolution. Good to know. Which, I mean, is true. The way I always think of these is it's a family of 2, where the evolution method from Fiona into Manaphy is it can't. Because, like, they are very clearly related since one produces eggs for the other. It's just, there's a cutoff. But, whatever. Yeah. Wish I had, not made that one guess or, gone with Ultra Form. But, that's fine. Alright, time for day 5. Let's hope that I don't do any stupid crap like I did with the Necrozma thing. Ugh. Oh, what is this? Oh, this is disgusting. Got 2 can learn insert move categories here. Happiness evolution, which is fine, I guess. Okay. So, 5 of these are gonna require me, require in quotes, require me to look up the list. I could do it without. I'm not going to. Let's see what I can do without it. So, evolved by friendship and flying type. I know Swoobat is in there. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah, Togetic. Crobat. Okay, so there's a few. I don't have a list of things that evolve with happiness, like, necessarily memorized, as I kind of do with the evolution stones, at least up to, like, Gen 5. Once it hits Gen 6, I kind of start forgetting some of them, but I think I generally know what these are. I don't know if there's another one. I know a lot of times babies evolve into their evolutions with happiness, not always. And Mantike is flying, but that one does not take friendship. My first gut was Swoobat, and it's probably the least guessed of the ones I said because it's just less popular than the other 2. So I'm going to go with that. Definitely curious how many answers there are for that one, because I could see this being the lowest of 3, but there also might be more than the 3 in there. So, basically, Gen 9 stuff. Interestingly enough, despite Gen 9 having a whole bunch of birds in its list of new Pokemon, there's actually not very many flying types. I know that prior to the DLC it was only 6, but Squawkabilly does count as 4 in this, and so that's probably what I gotta go with. Let me see if I remember all of them. There's Squawkabilly, Wattrel, Kilowattrel, Bombardier, Flamigo. There was, like, I remember just looking at the leaks and being like, there's a lot of birds in here, and I was questioning why. There's also, what the hell is it called? Espathra, which is not a flying type, but it's a bird. I'm just gonna go with one of the Squawkabillies. I'm feeling yellow today. Okay. So skipping all of the can learn this move categories. Friendship evolution monotype. I think I've got a decent number of options for that, so we are looking for specifically the evolution, so it can't be like Lucario. Friendship evolutions are there that are just kind of obscure in general. Frostmoth, that's not a pure type. I guess let me just think of which ones I can think of overall. So there's Clefairy, there's Pikachu, Blissey, Espeon, and Umbreon. I'm assuming Sylveon doesn't count. That one's like kinda I don't know. The mechanics on that one are weird, and it needs a fairy move anyway, so probably not that one. Not Meryl. Wobbuffet is a level up. Snorlax is 1. Chimecho is 1. I'm pretty sure. I think that one's happiness at night. That might be my answer. Badoo is a dual type. Happiny needs an item. Bonsai and Mime Jr. are level up with a move. I don't remember if Toxel evolves with happiness, but it's dual type anyway. Once again, I'm just kind of going with babies. I know there's ones that aren't those, but yeah, there's Lopunny. Funnily enough, I could put Lopunny, but not Mega Lopunny here, because that one actually does gain a type. The question is, could I do G-Max Pikachu? No, it actually won't even let me. Okay, so what did I say my answer was? Chimecho. Okay. Alright, Gen 9 Monotype. Yeah, plenty of options. What's this Pokemon that I often forget about? It's a stupid question because I was about to say my first answer is Cloth. And it's like, if I thought of it first, does that really mean I forget about it? But the reason I'm going with Cloth is because I did forget about it until I saw it listed for something like a couple days ago. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is a thing. Claw for Earthworm. Both of them are Titans, though, so, like, maybe not. I mean, hell, I could pick, like, Mastiff. Like, people remember Mabostiff because of the one that's in the story, but, like, ain't nobody using Mastiff. Or fucking Doxbun, like, middle form starters, nah, probably not those. For what it's worth, I actually don't think there's any monotypes in the DLC other than Terapagos. I think everything else is a dual type. So hell, maybe I should go with Terapagos then. Because people, like, they'll think of stuff that's in there, and it's like, you know, the new Paradoxes and Diplin and Archaludon and that shit, and it's like, oh, those are all dual types. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with this. Okay. Alright, so I guess now we're looking shit up. This is unfortunate. This crossover square is gonna be real fun. So, what are we looking at first? Flying types that can learn it? Well, there's fucking Altaria, I can tell you that much. Aerodactyl, I guess, is one of them. I know it couldn't get it in Gen 1. We learned that one a couple days ago. Okay, there's Gliscor, Landorus. That one, you know, makes sense. Okay, I wish I could just do a Control F for flying, but it's an image, so... I'm hoping there's going to be something in here that's just, like, really fucking stupid. Where it's like, you know, oh yeah, Picky Peck can do it. Because I'm just going to go for rule of ridiculousness, even if it's, like, the type of thing that if people knew it had it, it would be an obvious answer because of how stupid it is. But I'm tempted to just do that anyway. Arkin is pushing it. That thing's pretty small. I mean, yeah, we know about this one now, I suppose. I saw Celesteela there. That thing is gigantic, so it's not weird that it can use it, but it is a thing that I often forget as a flying type. Okay, but does Stadium 2 Gligar count? It depends on what list they're using, and I don't really want to risk it. Minior's, you know, whatever. It's the one that's split 8 ways. Let's just do that one. The only reason I didn't do it last time was because I was trying to make a point. So let's just go with the orange one and hope for the best. Alright, and then monotypes that can learn it. Once again, they've got, you know, plenty of options, and I wasn't looking for them when I was scrolling through before, so I'm not going to take a year to do it this time. Let's just see if anything looks stupid, like, you know, Munchlax. Galarian Corsola. Actually, wait. Shit. This would be a good answer for the Shadow Ball one. There's no way this thing doesn't get Shadow Ball, right? Oh god, the regular one does too. Okay, well, that's my answer for this one. Yes. Okay, so now we need another answer for... Oh yeah, that... Oh man, oh god. I almost got fucked there because I forgot that the category was monotype. If I had not paid attention and put this in here, that would have been shitty. Do I do both Corsolas? Do I want to, you know, double dip on that? Fucking Pineco. Piece of shit. Just, you know, goes into the ground. Creates an earthquake. Ekans. I would do Ekans, but it's, you know, really early in the list, so anybody else who's cheating is going to see that. You know, last time Yungoos was really high up on that list. I'm just going to do this one. It's not as funny as some of the other answers, but yeah. This is what I want. Damn, okay. Alright, time to look at this shit, so... Gen 9s that can learn Shadow Ball. What looks weird? Honestly, not much. It makes sense for Ghost to learn it. Dark is adjacent to Ghost. Psychic is kind of adjacent to Ghost. Almost everything here fits that description except for Dunsparce. I guess Iron Valiant, but, like, I could see this one using it. I could just go to Dunsparce because it's got 2 forms. Like, so do some of these other ones, but it's also the less obvious one. So, sure. 3 segment came up first. I don't know what that means for me, but look, if you're fucking guessing the Dunsparce, you might as well go big. Okay, and then evolution with friendship. That's gonna be... I'm gonna have to, like, actually think about this one, so... I'm assuming Pikachu is not on the list. Well, Let's Go Pikachu is. The hell? Okay. Clefairy can learn it. Jigglypuff can learn it. Blissey can learn it, of course it can. Lucario, I would assume. Chimecho would probably not be a bad guess again. Too bad I can't do it again. How about Rose? Ooh, maybe Roselia. That's a weird one. You know, it's common for normal types to learn it, which is why I wasn't thrilled with the Dunsparce answer, but it was the weirdest of the options, I think. This thing has no business hurling ghost balls. Let's go with that one. I really hope that Budew is actually a friendship evolution. I don't remember 100% that it is, but I think it is. And I'm not going to double check. I'm fine with cheating on this, but the other categories I have to go by memory. Okay. Alright, how'd I do? 40, 36. Oh, Jesus. Whenever I do well like this, but I had to cheat, it's like, I really deserve it, but fuck it, I'll take it. Okay. You know, I was really thinking maybe I should go for this one, but it was a difference of 0.3. Okay, so Swoobat was the lowest. What's the other flying type I forgot about? Oh yeah, Iron Jugulus, of course. How could I forget? I think there's still a bird I forgot about then. Because I swear if you don't count this being multiple forms, it was 6 flying types and also 6 types of birds. I don't remember. NANI? Orange was not the best color for this one. My first thought was indigo, and then I went orange, but that didn't change my result, really, so that's fine. Megapints are actually not a bad guess, because if you're an asshole like me and you're looking at the list, this wouldn't be on the list, because it only gains that type when it Mega Evolves, so I can see why that one's so low. That one took a certain level of forethought. Surprisingly, Arcan, really low on the list. Okay. Some more Megas I didn't think about. These were already flying to begin with, though. Gligar does count. And apparently a lot of people either remember that Stadium 2 Earthquake Gligar exists, or just thought that it gets the move naturally. It doesn't get it, in later gens, does it? Oh, it does. Okay, never mind. Fuck me, then. Okay, Roselia was a good guess. Forgot about Silvally. Alolan Persian. Sylveon does count. Okay, that's interesting. I guess, you know, stuff like this is specifically happiness at night. This is happiness with a fairy move, and also there's the whole merger of 2 stats that happened starting in Gen 8, and it's like, it's an edge case, but I guess it counts. This one, there's anything on here that looks weird? Nah, it's all pretty normal stuff. Shadow Ball and Earthquake. Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of overlap. My guess was pretty damn close to the bottom. Lowest being Snubbull. I could see this thing using Shadow Ball, but not Earthquake, so fair enough. Trash Wormadam, really? Okay, yeah, I'm not going to look through this whole list, but... You know what? Makes sense. Ghost and Ground type. Ghost and Ground type. Ghost and Ground type. Here's just Mew, because... I guess Mew is probably a pretty popular answer for these, since it can learn every TM, so if you don't want to look it up, it's a safe bet. So, yeah, it makes sense. Fucking Garfield here. So, Monotype, Happiness, yeah, Chimecho. So, I think I remembered all of them except for Alolan Persian and Silvally. Tadbulb. What is this? Monotype. Gen 9. Yeah. I probably... Oh, yeah. No, that was a bad guess. I think that was my worst guess on here. I underestimated how many people would think of legendaries or, like, realize that it was the only DLC thing that was a monotype. Damn it, Mass Shift was my other guess. I should have gone with that one. Oh well. And lastly, monotype, Earthquake. There's the Wishy-Washy. I'm surprised Makuhita's on the bottom. It's, you know, I can kind of see it, I guess. And yeah, there we go. Okay. Not a bad game, I guess. Just really hoping they don't keep throwing these move learning ones at me, because they're kind of annoying. Hoping for a nice quick one today. Last few have been running for a bit too long. Okay, I can probably make this happen. For some reason, Celesteela keeps popping up in these, but now it's... I mean, honestly, yeah, between the options of Skarmory, Corviknight, and that, it's probably the best pick. I can't remember if there's any other options. There's the Gmax, I guess, which yeah, because we've got the category there, I'll blow my load on this one just to hopefully get a lower score on it. I don't know. We'll see. Honestly, Celesteela is probably the better answer, but whatever. I'll do this. Did it not count? Okay, that was weird. Don't know why it did that, but alright. Okay, so what other Steel Gmaxes are there? There's, Melmetal, there is... whatever the fuck it's called. There's, Copperaja. Any other ones? There's not that many Gmax forms. I think it's like 30 or something. It's all Gen 1 stuff or Gen 8 stuff, except for Melmetal and Garbodor. None of them change types. There's no Steel types in Gen 1 that other than Magnemite Magneton, so yeah, I think it's just those. I guess I'll just do this one. I don't know if Melmetal is going to be guessed more. I have a feeling that it is, so maybe bad pick. If there's only 3 options, that's not a bad percentage. Okay. For Steel Grass, I believe that is just Ferroseed, Ferrothorn, and Kartana. For a second there, I was like, there's an Ogerpon form, but no, that's Grass Rock. Again, since I didn't go Celesteela, I'm not going to go Kartana either. I don't know why, necessarily. That's stupid reasoning, but hoping that the vote gets split. And I usually go first stage. Yeah. Okay, no, that one was not the best pick. Oh well, what can you do? Okay, so Gen 8 flying. Could just go Corviknight again, honestly, but... Okay, this doesn't include Hisui, so I can't do, like, a Namorass. So yeah, there's the Rookidee family, there's, why do I want to call it Bombardier? What the hell? Cramorant. Well, there's gotta be more flying types than that. There's no way there's no other flying types. Don't make me go through the whole deck, man. Oh, well, yeah, there's the legendary birds, I guess, yeah. I'm very tempted to check my spreadsheet, because there's no... I've got to be missing, like, a whole family or something, and I'm just totally blanking on it, but it's not coming to mind. So I guess I'll just do... I'll do one of the legendary birds. I'll do Zapdos, just because this thing barely even looks like a flying type. It is flying fighting, right? Okay. Okay, grass type, we've got some options. There's the starter, there's Gossifleur, there's the whole Flapple family, including its Geomaxes. That's probably the best option there. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with, I went with this Gmax last time, let's do this Gmax this time. Wait, hold on, that's not gonna mess up my... Yeah, I'm gonna use way too many of these in hopes that that helps, so... Now the problem is that I'll probably just have to pick the other one for the slot here, because if I don't, then I imagine Rillaboom's going to get pretty high percentage. Are there any other than those three? And I can't pick a Gen 1. It has to specifically be a Gen 8. I really don't remember Gen 8 stuff that well, because I just didn't like the games that much. Let's just not overthink it and do the other one. It's okay if I double up. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Why am I thinking I had to do grass again? I always do that. I, like, somehow get it in my head that I have to do more than 2 categories at once. Oh well, it got me a low number. It's fine, I guess. If I had, if I had not realized that, and I'm like, okay, let's maybe like Dreadnought, like that probably would have been higher. Like, so it's fine. Okay, mono flying. There's only 3. It's Rookidee, Corvisquire, and Tornadus. Tornadus counts as 2, so technically 4, because, yeah, these count as normal. You can't have them change, so... In this case, they're both kind of getting split, because, like, unless people think that Corvisquire is already part steel... I mean, it doesn't really look like it, but it's got the coloration, so that might be something people think. The thing is, like, why the hell did they do this? Like, I swear in Gen 8 they just stopped caring. Like, you can say what you want about the quality of the games and all that type of stuff, and I'd probably agree with you, but specifically in terms of, like, the little stuff like this, for all these generations we had normal flying, and I don't know why. It was a little stupid. They could have been pure flying, but they were maintaining it. They obviously wanted it that way. And then here it's like, nah, just not anymore. Also, we're going to have Cramorant be flying water instead of water flying, which is weird. But anyway, enough of that rant. I'm going to go with Corvisquire. I have a feeling one of the Tornadus forms is going to be the best guess, but I don't know which. It's going to be pretty evenly split, I would feel, so let's just do this one. Yeah, not too bad. There's probably one lower, but we'll see. Okay, mono grass. There's a surprising number of those. I say surprising because Gen 1 only had Tangela, and then after that, every gen's had like 80 of these things. I could double up again, pick a Galar Pokemon and go with like Eldegoss. That one is pretty forgettable. For me, there's also, I always felt like it was really redundant to have the Bounsweet family and the Fomantis family in Gen 7, because they both kind of do similar stuff. And going back further, there's just kind of Maractus, has a bit of a case. Like, people always think that one's really forgettable. There's others. Just trust me, there's others. I don't have to say what they are. But yeah, and of course there's a lot of starters, but starters are usually bad picks for these. I don't know how many people are picking Quilladin, but probably more than are picking Gossifleur, if I had to guess. I don't know, maybe not. That's kind of a hard call, but Gossifleur's currently my best guess. I'm just trying to see if anything else jumps out at me. Actually, is there a pure grass in Gen 9? Because, oh, there's Capsicid. Hell, let me go Capsicid. I might regret that, but this is my current guess. Yeah, okay. And any monotype Gmax. Not gonna go with Garbodor, because that one's kind of the weird case. Should I go with all 3 steel types? Should we complete the trio here? I'm saying this, and yet there's probably another steel type I'm forgetting. Could. Or I could go with, like, Meowth or Eevee. Nah, let's go. Maybe a stupid idea, but I want to see what happens. Okay, we got 109. Yeah, pretty good, I think. Alright. So, are there more than 3 of these? Oh, wait, okay, Flying Steel. Yeah, so that's what that is. Okay, are there more than 3 Steel Gmax forms? Duraludon, okay. Which, funnily enough, was somehow the most commonly guessed for this particular answer. And, you know, I guess the win... Are you shitting me with Quilladin? This is seriously the lowest one? That one was a joke. Oh my god. How... Okay, well, anyway, ignoring that one for a second, Corviknight, Zapdos, Corvisquire, I got the best answers for all of these. So what other flying types were there? Really, it is just those? It's the legendary birds, the Route 1 bird, and Cramorant. Huh. That's crazy. Okay. Here. Okay, yeah, I kind of hit that one right on the head. Kartana was the lowest. Damn it. That's annoying. I was tempted to go with it, and I'm like, nah, because, you know, that's a standalone thing, and this is a family of two. If people think of this one, they have to split it, but I guess a lot more people thought of this one because, like, Cortana's freaking weird. Dada's a rude. Is that what was that? Oh, Gen 8 grass. Okay. Okay, yeah. Oh, I forgot about Calyrex, too. Meow. Okay, so grass monotype. Out of any generation, somehow fucking Quilladin was the number one. Floragato not far behind. Okay, so middle stage starters were not as bad of a pick as I thought. Capsicid was at least, you know, in the bottom half. What was the number one guess? I'm gonna assume, I don't know if I've already seen it. Let me guess what it's gonna be. Is it gonna be like Chikorita? Yeah, okay. Eldegoss, strangely high. Gossifleur, okay, yeah. Well, I made a better guess than my initial pick. But man, if I had gone with Quilladin, that would have been hilarious. Okay, and then yeah, for these, you know, you just had to somehow get this into all three squares to get the best score. You know, I'm sure that's perfectly reasonable. So what was that? Monotype, Gmaxes. Okay, well, I picked the second best. And Garbodor's still a lot lower than I thought. Okay. This was just Gen 8 Gmaxes in general. Apparently, Rillaboom was the highest. Okay, if you say so. And then, yeah, I already looked at that one. Okay. Yeah, not a bad run. Not anything super interesting in this one, but worked out. I got a few of the best guesses, and I somehow predicted and yet didn't pick one of the other best guesses, so I guess one more day of this. Alright, time for the last day here, and before we actually do the puzzle, I wanted to show just the project in Premiere, because I've edited most of it together. I haven't done anything with day 6 yet. I need to cut that one down, but I had to trim out a lot of silence. I'm annoyed at my own speech patterns for just having so many random gaps between words, because it definitely drags things out longer than it needs to, and so I kind of went through and tried to eliminate that whenever I could. It speeds things up a bit. You know, it's cut a few minutes out of the project. And if you think that's bad, I have this other video that I recorded months ago that's a Gen 1 tier list that I was hoping to get down from about 8 hours to around 6, just to make it slightly more watchable. And that one is a pain in the ass. I've gone through like 3-4 hours of it, I think. I don't remember how long. And every time I start working on it, it makes me want to die, because it's just trim out this bit of silence, trim out this try to make this part sound a little more natural, and it's awful. But anyway, as for today's puzzle, nope, you don't get to watch me fumble around on this one. I'll give you the highlights here. I took one look at this puzzle. I wanted to fucking die. Because it's got 2 moves again, and the other categories are kind of shitty, because it's like monotype, no evolution line. Okay, well, that only gives me 5 billion different things I could put in. So I just kind of got irritated, just put in some of the first stuff I thought of. And I'm like, you know what, let's not look at Bulbapedia for these. I'm just going to think of stuff. And so I put in these 2. I'm like, might as well do a third Deoxys here. These, I thought it had to be a 3rd stage, because the icon shows it being a third stage. I didn't know it could be a second. So that limited my options a bit and definitely cost me some points. Not that it matters, because for these two, my rule was no normal types, because they can usually learn a pretty wide variety of moves, so they're too easy. And no stab types, so no electric for this category, no ghost for this category. For this one, I thought Starmie can learn Thunderbolt, which is weird because water types normally can't, but it can. I'm like almost positive of this, so sure, we'll do that one. And it's a psychic type, and usually psychic types can use Shadow Ball. Apparently not this one, so Starmie wasn't an answer. For this one, I was struggling to think of anything that was not normal or electric that could learn Thunderbolt that would be like an interesting answer. So after a while of faffing around, I'm like, fuck it, Alakazam. Alakazam does not learn Thunderbolt, apparently. So I missed both of those. The lowest score is apparently 3, because I guess everybody who plays this game is a genius, and I am not, so I added up my hypothetical scores, and it came out to like 9 point something, I think. For these two, I had to cheat and be like, okay, so I didn't want to re-guess for them, so I just kind of looked at what the, basically, if I picked the highest answer that followed my rules, so like no electric, no ghost, no normal, I think in this one, my other answer would have been Mewtwo, and for this one it was going to be like Nidoking, which I absolutely would have never thought of. But yeah, so now this sucks. I hate this game now because of these categories, and I'm probably never playing it again. I feel like a massive ass, which is annoying because in the first few videos, I was really having a fun time with this. I was getting to show off my Pokemon knowledge, and I thought that I was making good guesses, but then they had to throw in these fucking move categories, and I can't stand it. So I guess that's it for this game. I wish this didn't go out on such a ridiculous downer of me being a whiny little bitch who gives up the moment that it throws in something that I don't know, because I have to be the biggest, know-it-all in the room, and as soon as I'm not, I throw a fucking tantrum like a 2-year-old. But that's just my personality, I guess, so we'll just end with that.